Hello folks, and welcome to this very special Q&A interview. My name is Steve from Playtonic, and I'm joined by Gavin Price, studio director, founder.
I'm Mark Stevenson, the head of art.
We are talking about Yooka-Replaylee, the newly announced game, the one that we can talk about. This is the remastered, tackled again, definitive version of Yooka-Laylee. And we're here to talk about that a little bit. Let's start with the beginning, I guess. What is Yooka-Replaylee? How far does it go? What is a remake? What is a remaster? What is it to you, Gav?
It's actually a lot of little things. It's the game that with 10 more years of knowledge of being back and working in fun genres like platformers, because we weren't. Prior to Playtonic, we were doing a lot of other stuff. We were a little bit rusty. We're time poor, money poor, and we didn't have those two critical elements to make the game as great as we wanted. It was really challenging at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were doing a lot of things, learning how to run a studio, doing boring account stuff, legal stuff. When you're working for a first-party studio like Rare, you get so much stuff taken care of for you so you could just focus on the game. We couldn't do that as a startup. We probably had a few bad habits built into us as well that we had to get out of. You know, in that long time that's passed, you've learned a thing or two again and you want to go back and make things right.
The team's grown massively as well. So, I mean, how big were you back then compared to where we're at now?
Yeah.
I think we kind of worked out equivalent of about 15 people.
We are now a studio of, nearly 60 people? And the trailer looks great, and a big portion of a remaster is going back and redoing the art, right? Can you shed a little bit of light on that, Mark?
So I guess with the original one, we were spread very thin. People had to take on multiple roles as well. And since we've grown, we've allowed ourselves as a studio to be able to specialise in roles more. So people can be much more focused on being the best they can at what they do. Also gives us the chance to bring in all these amazing techniques that kind of expect to see in these games these days, especially if you're talking.
Yeah, fine, okay.
We wanted to get in all the nice, lovely graphical effects that you kind of expect these days. We've got amazing grass system, fur on Laylee, loads of lovely volumetric lighting and fog, reactive water now, the lighting.
No, I think you guys have done a great job. Seeing the trailer, when we see that night and day transition between old and new in the trailer, you see how much it has improved.
We had a few people just be like, oh, well, I didn't really think it needed a graphical lick of paint. But when you see them side by side, yeah, you can look and go, oh, do you know what? Yeah. And it adds a whole load more life to the world. One thing for me, a touch point on at least the graphical side of things, the skyboxes. There's some special stuff in there, right? That's kind of come a long way as well.
There's a bit of life in the skybox now as well, and that sense of a bigger world. Seeing the worlds and elements of them come to life, and we've just now got time to analyse and go, oh, we can have things like that. I love the little ropes just swaying now, and the leaf motion in trees. If you could just have more time back then, you'd probably start doing a few more of these things.
Gav, maybe you can touch on camera and control stuff?
Controls, at the time, I remember straight away people saying it felt off and a bit unresponsive. We get that, it did. We've looked into it, we know why. Our animations were too fluid and there wasn't enough contrast between changing state. All things like that have been changed across the moveset. Elements of the moveset were just plain wrong. I've, for how many years now, just been absolutely seething every morning thinking about that flying game. Lots of improvements, some really subtle but they have a big difference, some immediately noticeable. Yes, there's going to be changes to camera controls. We were trying to be helpful. This will help the player out if the camera just handles going past this tree by moving like that and making sure you can still see the characters. Turns out we were wrong. With the time we've been able to analyse and look and say, all right, what really works in these particular instances.
So now we can talk about abilities.
Being able to make sure that any challenges you come across requiring them as well, it's a bit more natural and they're a bit more gated, and around those areas you'll have been using those moves. The ability unlocking, it's kind of just legacy from Banjo-Kazooie, and it was an interesting take on how to progress through a game back then. But it caused us a lot of problems. We had big worlds, and if you were exploring these worlds and you just didn't have the moves in the right place at the right time, it had a big negative effect on the experience and your time with the game. So we're adding in lots more ways to take advantage of the moves as well as you navigate around the levels. More things to do, new fresh things, coins. Locations of quills will be tweaked.
In terms of tweaking the challenges and looking at some new and remixed challenges. So I know you've got some thoughts on a couple of challenges, right?
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm the game's harshest critic. There's lots of opportunity to improve what's there. Anything where we just look at it now and go, fundamentally this was bad game design, or we executed a good idea badly, we should change and we should improve. We should make something that reflects the fact that we think we've improved as developers, you know. So if you've played through the game before, expect lots of new surprises and things worth checking out.
We've hinted there's going to be a map for each level. We've also talked a little bit about a challenge tracker.
One of the things we felt was people got very different experiences because it's such an open experience, the original game. We left it up to the player to find their way around, figure out what they could and couldn't do. So we're hoping to alleviate a lot of that by introducing a map so you can see where you need to go. It's more of a, here's a location over here, here's a location over there, and likewise with the quest tracker, you'll be able to find things that you could do or can do as well, because some of the challenges depend on whether you've got moves unlocked or not. So it's just taking the annoying bits out of figure this out. Hopefully this way as well, that'll mean that people can go through the experience.
It's a really useful tool. Like any tool, it's how you want to use it. So some people will absolutely go, you know what, I love the challenge of figuring everything out myself. Some people love that aspect. Some people, they really want to be able to guarantee themselves a good, fruitful time.
And it's not forced, is it, either, really? It's something on the pause screen. If you're happy with the game in that sense, the way it was, then great, you can kind of ignore it. There's a few other things as well. There's some other bonus stuff knocking around. You know, we alluded to it in the trailer. It does say there's a big thing that slaps on and more to come. One last sort of holistic message, really, in terms of why have we come out with our first announcement being this over something else.
Because the other games that we're not allowed to talk about aren't ready to be mentioned yet.
But yes, we are in development on this and a few other projects that we've hinted to. So rest assured there will be more coming soon, and we will have more answers to your questions soon. What is your one most looked forward to improvement, change, revision is?
The map that we already mentioned.
I would say the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, any element of gameplay which requires jumping should have a drop-down shadow, which I can't believe we released a 3D platform and we didn't do that. We're fixing that.
Thank you so much for watching, folks. We'll have more answers to your questions soon. Please go and wishlist Yooka-Replaylee. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.